Sit back, relax, and allow your mind to drift to a time before written history, before maps charted the oceans and deserts, when humanity was young, fragile, and watching the skies for signs. Imagine standing on a quiet shoreline, the wind tangling your hair, waves lapping at your feet, and somewhere beneath those waters, a city lies forgotten. Its streets, temples, and homes swallowed centuries ago, yet their echoes linger, whispered in the rhythm of the tides. Across the world, legends of drowned cities, vanished kingdoms, and inexplicable monuments hint at truths long buried. Some researchers point to Heraklion, an Egyptian port once mentioned in the texts of Herodotus, believed to have disappeared beneath the waves over a millennium ago. Divers discovered its colossal statues, temples, and streets, perfectly preserved beneath layers of silt, challenging the line between myth and reality. Could there be more, waiting silently beneath the sea? Each ruin a tomb of knowledge, a testament to civilizations we barely glimpse in fragments. And yet, the ocean is only one veil of mystery. Across continents, tales of sudden floods, catastrophic fires, and the rise and fall of civilizations repeat in surprising harmony. Stories of Noah, Atlantis, the submersion of kingdoms in the Caribbean, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific suggest an echo of events that reshaped the world. Some scholars believe these myths might be ancestral memories, warnings encoded in story, passed from generation to generation long before writing could preserve them. Others remain skeptical, suggesting coincidence, allegory, or the human desire to explain chaos. Still, when you stand in the shadow of ruins, or trace the lines of a submerged city through sonar scans, it's hard not to wonder, what if these tales hold fragments of truth, whispers of an ancient world erased by nature's slow, inexorable hand? And if so, what lessons lie buried beneath layers of sand, stone, and water, waiting for us to rediscover them? As the waves rise and fall, the question hangs in the air. How much of human history is hidden, and how many mysteries of the past remain locked away, unseen, unheard, and unremembered, until the day we dare to look closer? From the silent depths of the ocean, we now move to the vast, whispering forests of the world. Places where sunlight barely touches the ground and the air hums with unseen life. Imagine stepping into the Amazon rainforest, centuries before satellite eyes or LiDAR beams could pierce the dense canopy, believing it to be untouched wilderness, a green ocean too wild, too poor, too unforgiving to host anything more than scattered hunting. And yet, beneath that living roof, secrets slept. When modern technology finally allowed us to see through the leaves, what emerged stunned the world. Massive networks of roads, causeways, canals, and ceremonial plazas sprawled for miles, revealing cities so vast they rivaled ancient Mesopotamia in complexity. In Bolivia's llanos, domojos, geometric earthworks, raised roads, and connected settlements suggest a civilization meticulously planned, harmonizing with the floods and droughts of its environment. Fish ponds and irrigation channels whisper of aquaculture mastered long before scholars imagined. Further north, in Brazil, LiDAR revealed circular and square formations, intricate designs etched across hundreds of meters, suggesting ceremonial or astronomical purposes. These weren't random patterns, they were deliberate, purposeful, the fingerprints of people long vanished. Some researchers argue that these discoveries challenge everything we thought we knew about pre-Columbian societies, forcing a reevaluation of the pristine myth, the idea that the rainforest was untouched by human hands. And yet, questions abound. How many other civilizations were swallowed by the greenery, their monuments decayed by relentless rain, roots prying apart stone, moss reclaiming what humans had built. Half a world away, in the jungles of Cambodia, a similar story unfolds. For centuries, Angkor Wat was thought to be a solitary wonder, an isolated temple lost to time. Then LiDAR revealed a sprawling metropolis hidden beneath the jungle. Streets, canals, reservoirs, and suburban sprawl stretching as far as the eye could imagine. An entire empire, vast and sophisticated, vanished almost entirely from memory. Its hydraulic systems rival modern engineering, carefully balancing floods and dry seasons. By the time European explorers stumbled upon the moss-covered ruins, centuries of jungle had reclaimed its grandeur. Birds nested where kings once presided. Trees split stone walls. Civilization, once so visible, had dissolved into myth. And as we ponder the scope of these lost empires, an unsettling thought takes hold. If the Amazon and Cambodia could hide such wonders, what else might lie buried beneath deserts, mountains, and other forests? How many cities, civilizations, and mysteries remain unseen? Their stories swallowed by time, waiting for someone to look beyond the obvious, to uncover the invisible chapters of human history. The question lingers. What else lies beneath the green shadow of the earth, silent, patient, and waiting for discovery? From the hidden cities swallowed by the jungle, we now turn to stone ancient, immovable, and eternal, standing as silent witnesses to the ingenuity and mysteries of our ancestors. Stone has always fascinated humanity, not merely for its durability, but for the secrets it might hold, secrets that defy explanation even today. Across continents, from Egypt to Malta, from Mesoamerica to England, structures carved from solid rock continue to baffle scientists and archaeologists alike. Take the Hypogeum of Calciflini in Malta, a labyrinth of chambers, corridors, and sanctuaries carved deep underground over 5,000 years ago. Its architecture alone is remarkable, but what has truly captivated researchers is its acoustics. In one chamber, known as the Oracle Room, a single chant can set the walls vibrating, producing frequencies that ripple through the body, altering perception, blurring vision, and creating a sense of transcendence. Were these effects intentional? Did the builders understand sound in a way we are only beginning to grasp, designing spaces that could manipulate consciousness itself? Journey to Egypt, to the Great Pyramid of Giza, where sound behaves in equally mysterious ways. Deep within the king's chamber, a single clap does not merely echo. It resonates, amplified by the precise placement and cutting of massive granite blocks, creating vibrations that linger in the air like invisible waves. Some theorists suggest the pyramid functioned as more than a tomb. Perhaps it was a machine of frequencies designed to magnify the human voice, to harness energy, or to interact with forces beyond our understanding. Across the world, Stonehenge in England reveals another layer of mystery. Its towering sarsen stones, arranged in a precise circle, create natural acoustic effects. Chanting, drumming, or ritual sounds reverberate in patterns that envelop participants while muffling the sound outside the circle. Could Neolithic peoples have understood the principles of sound amplification, resonance, and vibration as sacred tools, using them to communicate with the divine, to guide ritual, or to induce trance states? And in the Peruvian Andes, Coven de Dontar reveals stone corridors and ducts carved with such precision that air and sound move through them in ways that remain puzzling. Across millennia, humans have shaped stone not merely for shelter or decoration, but perhaps to capture invisible forces, to manipulate perception, to reach the unknowable. We can marvel, but we cannot fully explain. What knowledge was lost, buried alongside the stones? What rituals, what powers, what understanding of sound and energy did our ancestors possess that now eludes us? And as we ponder the whispering stone and its hidden resonance, we are left with the haunting question: if humans could shape sound, mind, and spirit through architecture thousands of years ago, what other secrets of the ancient world remain beyond our comprehension, waiting silently in the stone? Sit back, relax, and let your mind drift to the oceans, where silence rules and time seems to have stopped, but beneath the waves, secrets lie waiting. Humanity has always looked to the sea with awe and fear, a boundary between the known and the unknown. And yet, in waters off the coasts of India, Egypt, and Japan, divers and sonar scans have revealed cities that once thrived, now swallowed by the relentless tides. Dwarka, the fabled city of Krishna, emerges from legend into something tangible, with submerged temples, streets, and massive stone walls hinting at a civilization both advanced and lost. In Egypt, the ruins of Heracleion, once a bustling port mentioned by Herodotus over 2 millennia ago, lay hidden beneath the Mediterranean, dismissed as myth until the 20th century. Colossal statues, temple remnants, and streets submerged beneath the waves suggest a city consumed not by imagination but by nature's slow, inexorable hand. Across the Pacific and the Caribbean, similar tales persist. Onuni in Japan, the mysterious Bimini Road near the Bahama stone formations that some see as natural, others as the remnants of drowned civilizations. And as sea levels rose following the last ice age, hundreds of feet of land disappeared, carrying away entire human settlements. Could these submerged worlds be the source of the flood myths so pervasive across cultures? The deluge of Noah, the drowning of Atlantis, tales of lost continents in the Pacific, all might echo a distant memory of cities erased by water. Scientists remind us that the ocean covers 70% of Earth, most of it unexplored, a vast archive of history waiting in silence. Every sonar ping, every dive, is a descent into memory, a chance to glimpse civilizations long thought impossible. But even as we uncover ruins, we confront questions we cannot answer. Who lived there? How advanced were they? And what cataclysm swept them away, leaving only whispers beneath the waves? Perhaps beneath the ocean, knowledge sleeps, fragile and submerged, waiting for us to remember. And as we ponder the sunken streets, the echo of laughter, the shadow of human endeavor lost to time, we cannot help but ask, how many other cities, treasures, and secrets lie hidden beneath the watery veil, waiting for the day when someone dares to find them? Imagine a world in flux, where the sky itself seems to turn against humanity, where fire rains from above, ice melts in torrents, and winds and floods reshape the map of existence. Around 12,800 years ago, at the dawn of human civilization, something extraordinary and terrifying may have occurred. Scientists call it the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, a theory that suggests Earth was struck not by a single asteroid like the one that ended the age of dinosaurs, but by fragments of a comet, exploding in the atmosphere across continents, igniting wildfires, and plunging the planet into sudden, brutal cold. Before this cataclysm, the last ice age was retreating. Humanity stirring across Eurasia and the Americas, hunter-gatherer bands thriving, and the first seeds of agriculture appearing in the Fertile Crescent. Then, Abruptly, temperatures dropped by up to 10 degrees Celsius. Megafauna like mammoths and giant sloths vanished, and human cultures faltered. For over a millennium, the world endured this chilling reversal. At first, geologists suggested collapsing ice dams and floods as the culprit, but evidence accumulated that something far more dramatic had occurred. Across sediments worldwide, a thin black layer appears, rich with carbon, tiny diamonds, metallic spherules, and platinum materials, rare on Earth but common in meteorites. Charcoal deposits indicate continent-wide fires. Forests devoured in a blaze that might have consumed a tenth of Earth's greenery. The idea of cosmic fire reshaping the fate of humanity sounds almost mythic, yet traces persist in the Earth itself. Some researchers argue these events may have triggered the disappearance of cultures like the Clovis in North America, while elsewhere, humans began constructing vast stone enclosures, carved with animals, cosmic symbols, and celestial imagery. Were these efforts attempts to understand the skies, memorials to fire from above, or acts of ritual survival? The notion challenges our understanding of history. If true, the Younger Dryas was not merely a climatic anomaly. It may have been a reset button for civilization, erasing crops, settlements, and knowledge, forcing humanity to rebuild from the ashes. And if one comet strike could bring such devastation, how many other disasters have we lost to memory, hidden beneath sediments and legends, waiting for science to whisper their story back to us? Sit back, relax, and imagine an island larger than Libya and Asia combined. A place of glittering temples, advanced knowledge, an unimaginable power, an island that vanished in a single night beneath the waves. Nearly 2,400 years ago, Plato wrote of this place, Atlantis, describing a civilization whose people were part divine, part human, ruling with skill, knowledge, and ambition. Their capital city was said to be a marvel of concentric rings of land and water, connected by bridges and canals, glinting with orichalcum, a metal that shone like fire. They possessed knowledge of architecture, governance, and astronomy far beyond their time. Yet their hubris provoked the gods' wrath. In one catastrophic night, the island sank, leaving only memory. For centuries, scholars debated, was this merely allegory, a moral lesson on pride and corruption? Or was Plato preserving a memory, a fragment of human history buried beneath oceans? Across cultures, echoes of Atlantis ripple like a hidden refrain. The Greeks spoke of flood myths, of Deucalion and Pyrrhus. Mesopotamians told of Utnapishtim, surviving divine deluge. The Bible recounts Noah's Ark and distant lands. From the Maya to Aboriginal Australia, speak of sunken realms and drowned worlds. Could these stories be fragments of a shared memory, a collective recollection of civilizations erased by catastrophe? Modern researchers have sought Atlantis in oceans and continents alike, from the Azores in the Atlantic to the Caribbean islands, where formations like the Bimini Road hint at sunken harbors. Some suggest the violent eruption of Thera, modern-day Santorini, may have inspired Plato, a cataclysmic volcanic event sending tsunamis across the Aegean and reshaping the Minoan world. Others point west to Tartessos in Spain, a wealthy, mysterious culture that vanished abruptly. Yet none fit perfectly. The mystery deepens. Was Atlantis a single place, a composite of many lost worlds, or a symbol of the fragility of human ambition? And if there was one Atlantis, how many others lie hidden beneath oceans and sands, waiting to be remembered? Could these legends be whispers of a far older human story, one submerged, obscured, yet somehow echoing through time, connecting fire, flood, and the rise and fall of civilizations. Next, we move from myth to the submerged remnants of real civilizations, places where the ocean has swallowed human ambition and left only whispers beneath the waves. Off the coast of Egypt lies Heracleion, once a thriving port city mentioned by Herodotus, dismissed for centuries as legend, until divers uncovered colossal statues, temples, and streets lost to time. Imagine the scale. Massive sphinx partially buried in sand, stone columns rising from the seabed like frozen echoes of worship, and the silent hum of water filling spaces once crowded with merchants and priests. Thousands of miles away, in India, lies Dwarka, a city whose ruins date back thousands of years beneath the Arabian Sea. Archaeologists discovered submerged walls, streets, and temples, hinting at a sophisticated civilization whose stories may have been encoded in local legends. Some researchers believe these cities vanished suddenly, overwhelmed by rising sea levels at the end of the last ice age, when waters surged hundreds of feet higher than today. Could the memory of these floods have traveled through generations, forming the basis of global deluge myths, from Noah to Atlantis? Each submerged city raises more questions than answers. How much knowledge, culture, and technology did humanity lose when the ocean reclaimed these lands? And what else sleeps beneath the waves, hidden from sonar and time, waiting for divers or chance to reveal it? As we peer into the depths, we are reminded that human history is not limited to the land we can see. The ocean is both cradle and grave, preserving echoes of civilizations that science is only beginning to glimpse. In the cold, dark waters, the remnants of streets, statues, and temples whisper stories older than written records, urging us to remember that our past is not as solid as it seems, and that beneath every wave may lie a lost chapter of humanity waiting to resurface. The question lingers: if these cities existed and vanished so completely, how many others remain hidden, their stories submerged, their lessons lost to time? From the depths of the oceans, we now ascend into the dense, suffocating green of the Amazon rainforest, a place long imagined as a wild, untamed expanse, untouched by human hands. For centuries, explorers assumed the forest was too harsh, too nutrient-poor, and too chaotic to support complex civilizations. Sit back, relax, and picture this: endless canopies of emerald, sunlight fractured into drifting beams, the air thick with humidity, the calls of unseen birds and insects creating a living symphony of sound. And yet, beneath this verdant chaos, secrets waited patiently for centuries. With the advent of LiDAR light detection, and ranging scientists gained the ability to peer through the dense vegetation as though given a god's eye view. What they found stunned the world. Beneath the seemingly impenetrable jungle lay sprawling networks of roads, canals, ceremonial plazas, and massive urban centers. Evidence that the Amazon was once home to civilizations rivaling the great cities of Mesopotamia or the Nile. In Bolivia's Llanos de Mojos, geometric earthworks stretch for miles. Roads connecting towns, agricultural systems, and ritual spaces aligned with the stars, hinting at a sophisticated understanding of engineering, astronomy, and society. Further north, in Brazil, LiDAR revealed hundreds of vast geometric earthworks, circular, square, and intricate patterns so precise they could hardly be accidental. Some researchers suggest these were ceremonial or astronomical, a way for ancient people to map both the heavens and the earth. The forest itself, it seems, has been both preserver and eraser, swallowing monuments over centuries, reclaiming human works in a slow, relentless embrace. And yet evidence persists, waiting for modern eyes to rediscover it. The sheer scale of these lost cities forces us to reconsider what we thought we knew about human history, that for all our assumptions about pristine wilderness, humanity has long been capable of shaping, engineering, and controlling even the most challenging environments. And as the green canopy stretches endlessly, one question rises above the hum of insects and rustling leaves. How many more cities, empires, and secrets lie hidden beneath the world's jungles, deserts, and mountains, awaiting rediscovery? The Amazon whispers a tantalizing answer, but only partially, leaving the rest for future explorers and time itself. From the heart of South America, our journey shifts to Southeast Asia, to a place where stone and jungle intertwine in a haunting embrace. Angkor, in modern-day Cambodia. For centuries, explorers had marveled at Angkor Wat, its towers rising like fingers grasping at the sky, but assumed the surrounding jungle concealed little more than scattered villages. Sit back, relax, and imagine this: moss-covered stones, roots snaking through temple walls like veins of memory, birds and monkeys claiming dominion over a world once ruled by kings and priests. Then came LiDAR, piercing the thick canopy with precise laser pulses, revealing a city of staggering scale hidden beneath centuries of overgrowth. Streets, reservoirs, canals, and suburban sprawl extended in every direction. A metropolis larger than most pre-industrial cities, meticulously planned and interconnected. Water management was not an afterthought, it was lifeblood. Reservoirs and canals balanced seasonal floods and droughts. Evidence of hydraulic engineering so advanced that modern engineers still marvel at its sophistication. The scale and precision suggest a civilization not only thriving but capable of complex administration, religious devotion, and artistic expression. And yet, the jungle, patient and relentless, had swallowed the memory of it all. By the time European explorers arrived, Angkor's grandeur was already lost, overgrown and silent, leaving behind only fragments of temples and inscriptions hinting at past glory. The sheer magnitude of the city, hidden so completely, forces a re-evaluation of what lost really means. How easily the hand of nature can erase human achievement. And as the laser maps reveal endless grids and hidden structures beneath the canopy, one cannot help but wonder if such a metropolis could vanish into obscurity. What other civilizations have been erased entirely, leaving no record but whispers in the soil, myths in the stories, and the faintest trace in the earth itself? The jungle guards its secrets jealously, offering glimpses that tease the imagination, but never give full understanding. What other Angkors lie hidden, waiting for a future discovery that could rewrite the story of human history? And in these vanished cities, what truths about human ingenuity, ambition, and vulnerability remain buried, waiting to be remembered? Throughout human history, stone has been more than mere shelter or decoration. It has been a medium of memory, a conduit for power, and perhaps even a tool for the unseen. Imagine standing inside a chamber carved entirely from solid limestone, the walls smooth but cold, the air still and heavy, yet vibrating faintly as if the stone itself remembers every footstep that has ever crossed it. Ancient cultures, from Malta to Egypt, from Mesoamerica to England, built not only with vision but with precision, sometimes aligning their structures to the stars, other times to the sounds and frequencies of the earth itself. Take the Hal Saflieni Hypogeum in Malta, an underground labyrinth older than 5,000 years, spiraling down into darkness, where the very architecture seems to sing in the so-called oracle room. A simple chant resonates through the chamber, male voices amplifying frequencies around 110 Hz, causing the stone to hum in harmony with the human body. Visitors report blurred vision, tingling sensations, and shifts in perception, as if the space itself is alive and attuned to human consciousness. Could this have been intentional, a tool for rituals, meditation, or communication with forces beyond understanding? Move to Egypt, to the Great Pyramid of Giza, where the king's chamber, constructed from massive granite blocks weighing tens of tons, produces an echo unlike any ordinary space. Clap once, and the sound reverberates, lingering as a low, bell-like vibration that fills the chamber. Some researchers suggest these acoustic properties could have been harnessed in ceremonial contexts, perhaps magnifying voice, intention, or even spiritual energy. The ancients spoke of Heka, the magical power of words and sound, and perhaps the pyramid itself was designed to amplify it. In England, Stonehenge presents another enigma. It's massive, Sossen stones arranged not only for astronomical observation, but also to channel and project sound. Drums, chants, or ritual music would have carried across the circle with surprising clarity, while the surrounding terrain muffled outside noise, creating an immersive, almost hypnotic experience. And in Peru, sites like Chavin de Huanta contain networks of ducts and stone corridors with eerie acoustic effects, amplifying sounds from deep within the earth and perhaps imbuing ceremonies with a sense of otherworldly presence. The precision, scale, and consistency of these discoveries raise tantalizing questions. Were these ancient people aware of resonance, vibration, and frequency? Did they harness the unseen qualities of stone to alter consciousness, to communicate with unseen forces, or to create experiences that modern science can barely comprehend? Across continents and millennia, the evidence whispers that sound and stone were inseparable, and that human ingenuity extended far beyond the physical into realms we are only beginning to imagine. And as we ponder these mysteries, one question remains: what other secrets lie embedded in the silent stones, waiting for the curious to awaken them? Next we move from stone to water, to civilizations that once thrived where the ocean now rolls, hidden beneath waves and shifting sands, waiting silently for us to rediscover them. Consider the legendary city of Heracleion, an Egyptian port mentioned by Herodotus over 2,000 years ago, said to have vanished beneath the sea long before most written records. For centuries, scholars dismissed it as myth, a cautionary tale lost to time, until divers uncovered colossal statues, temples, and fragments of streets that confirmed its existence. Imagine descending into the blue depths, where sunlight barely penetrates, swimming past toppled obelisks and columns now draped in algae, and sensing the scale of human ambition swallowed by the sea. Heracleion reminds us that memory is fragile and myth often conceals history. But the mystery extends far beyond Egypt. From Southeast Asia to the Caribbean, tales of sunken cities and lost civilizations echo remarkably similar themes. Kingdoms obliterated by rising waters, cultures erased in a single cataclysm, leaving only whispers in oral tradition and scattered ruins beneath the tides. Some researchers connect these stories to the end of the last ice age, around 12,000 years ago, when vast glaciers melted and sea levels rose hundreds of feet, inundating coastlines where humans once lived. Could these drowned lands be the origin of global flood myths, like the deluge of Noah, the destruction of Atlantis, or the epic tales of other forgotten peoples? The ocean covers 70% of our planet, and most of it remains unexplored. A silent archive of civilizations we can only imagine. Divers exploring Dwarka off India's coast have found stone structures, remnants of a city submerged under the Arabian Sea, while underwater terraces off Japan hint at monumental architecture whose origins remain debated. Each discovery invites more questions than answers. Were these structures built by peoples advanced beyond our current understanding? Or are they natural formations misinterpreted by eager minds? And yet, the consistency of the stories, the sudden destruction, the engulfing waves, the vanished populations cannot be ignored. Beneath the waves lie tombs of knowledge, echoes of human resilience and fragility. The sea preserves and erases with equal force, holding secrets in its silence. Perhaps the flood myths we have inherited are more than allegories. They may be ancestral warnings, encoded memories of a time when humanity faced nature's inexorable power. And as we peer into the depths, one haunting thought emerges. How many cities, cultures, and histories have already been claimed by the ocean, waiting for us to descend, explore, and finally remember? From the drowned cities of the past, we now turn to fire and sky, to catastrophes written not in stone or water, but in the very atmosphere that surrounds our fragile planet. Around 12,800 years ago, Earth experienced a sudden and violent reversal of climate, plunging the world into what scientists call the Younger Dryas, a period of abrupt glacial conditions. Temperatures dropped dramatically, megafauna like mammoths and giant sloths vanished, and human societies were forced to adapt or perish. For decades, researchers believed this shift was caused by meltwater from retreating glaciers. But a more dramatic theory has emerged: fire from the sky. The Younger Dryas impact hypothesis suggests that comet fragments, entering the atmosphere, exploded in multiple airbursts, igniting widespread fires, spreading soot and debris across continents, and triggering a sudden freeze that reshaped the world. Imagine skies filled with burning embers, forests collapsing in walls of flame, and oceans churned by cascading floods from melting ice sheets, in sediment layers from North America to Europe. Scientists have discovered a mysterious black mat, a thin layer of carbon-rich material containing microscopic diamonds, metallic spheres, and platinum spikes, all pointing toward an extraordinary cosmic event. Some critics dismiss these findings as coincidence, but others see the fingerprints of a cataclysm that may have reset civilization. Cultures like the Clovis people in North America disappear from the archaeological record around this time, leaving behind only stone tools and traces of hunting camps. In the Middle East, early farming communities suddenly erect massive stone enclosures, decorated with carvings of animals and cosmic symbols, possibly memorializing a disaster that scarred the sky. Flood myths across the globe begin to take on new meaning when considered alongside this cosmic calamity. From Sumer to India, from Native American legends to the Bible, stories of a great deluge resonate with the possibility of a sudden, world-altering event. Even today, we are reminded of our vulnerability. In 1908, a comet fragment flattened thousands of square kilometers of Siberian forest at Tunguska, and in 2013, a smaller fragment exploded over Chelyabinsk, shattering windows and injuring thousands. Multiply these events by the scale and frequency implied by the Younger Dryas, and we glimpse the devastation ancient humans might have faced. If fire from the sky truly struck 12,800 years ago, it may have erased entire chapters of human development, delaying the rise of agriculture, cities, and writing. And it raises a haunting question: how many other civilizations, thriving in deep prehistory, might have been extinguished by forces beyond their comprehension, leaving behind only whispers of memory in stone, myth, and sediment? Next, we move from cosmic fire to the seas, to a place where myth and memory collide in the story of Atlantis, the legendary island that vanished beneath the waves. Nearly 2,400 years ago, Plato wrote of a land larger than Libya and Asia combined, a civilization of immense wealth, advanced knowledge, and naval power so great it shook the ancient world. According to his dialogues, Timaeus and Cratias, Atlantis was ruled by descendants of gods and mortals, living in splendor within concentric rings of land and water, connected by bridges and canals shimmering with orichalcum, a metal said to shine like fire. They possessed remarkable understanding of astronomy, architecture, and governance, far beyond what their contemporaries could achieve. Yet their ambition betrayed them. Seeking to conquer Athens and other regions, they incurred the wrath of the gods, who destroyed their island in a single night of catastrophe. To many, this story reads as moral allegory, a tale warning against pride and corruption. Yet others cannot ignore Plato's insistence that he recorded history passed to him by Sklelen, who in turn had heard it from Egyptian priests. Why such detail if it were mere fiction? The intrigue deepens when we consider echoes of Atlantis across cultures, flood myths in Greece, Mesopotamia, India, and the Americas speak of great deluges, sunken lands, and civilizations erased by water. Could Atlantis be a memory embedded in humanity's collective consciousness, a record of a real place lost to time? Modern exploration has sought tangible evidence. Some place it in the Atlantic near the Azores, others in the Caribbean, pointing to formations like the Bimini Road in the Bahamas Linear, arrangements of limestone blocks some believe to be remnants of ancient harbors. Closer to home, the Mediterranean offers other possibilities. Santorini, or Thera, erupted around 1600 BCE in one of the largest volcanic explosions in recorded history, sending tsunamis across the Aegean and devastating the a seafaring civilization whose artistry and engineering rivaled Plato's descriptions. Could the destruction of Thera have inspired the Atlantis myth? Yet the Minoans did not vanish instantly, and Plato places Atlantis far beyond sight of Greece. Other candidates include Tartessos in southern Spain, a wealthy culture suddenly disappearing around 500 BCE, leaving only whispers in history. Each theory raises questions, yet none provides certainty. Perhaps Atlantis was never a single place but a symbol, a memory of advanced civilizations lost to catastrophe, a warning, and a longing entwined in the human psyche. As we gaze across oceans and ages, the line between myth and history blurs, leaving us to wonder, if Atlantis existed, what secrets lie beneath the waves, waiting for the day when memory and evidence might meet again. From the legend of Atlantis, we dive into the tangible mysteries of sunken cities scattered across our oceans, places where stone and memory persist beneath the waves. Off the coast of India lies Dwarka, an ancient city mentioned in Hindu texts. Submerged for centuries beneath the Arabian Sea, divers exploring its waters have uncovered massive stone walls, foundations, and what appeared to be remnants of temples. suggesting a civilization both complex and long forgotten. Some researchers argue these are natural formations shaped by currents, yet the scale and layout hint at urban planning, roads, and districts, as if an entire society once thrived here. Across Southeast Asia, the Yonauni Monument off the coast of Japan presents a similar puzzle. Vast stone terraces, geometrically precise, lying beneath shallow waters. Their origins disputed, their purpose enigmatic. Could these have been ceremonial spaces, defensive fortifications, or perhaps harbors now lost to the sea? The evidence forces a reconsideration of history. During the last ice age, sea levels were hundreds of feet lower. Entire coastlines, fertile lands, and civilizations may have existed where only ocean now stretches. Could global flood, myths Noah's deluge, Atlantis, the submersion of lost lands in the Pacific be the echo of memory, human recollection of sudden inundation? The ocean covers 70% of the earth, most of it unexplored, leaving the possibility that countless cities, temples, and artifacts remain hidden. Even in the Caribbean, the Bimini Road, a series of linear limestone blocks beneath turquoise waters, evokes curiosity and debate. Some see the first trace of Atlantis. Others see fractured limestone shaped by waves over millennia. What is undeniable is the human compulsion to remember and to tell stories, embedding catastrophe into myth. Each submerged site challenges assumptions, suggesting our understanding of ancient human achievement is incomplete, and that history may be far richer and more fragile than recorded in texts. Beneath these waters, civilizations sleep, waiting to be rediscovered, and with each discovery comes the haunting realization: if fire, ice, and sea could erase entire cities once, what else has vanished, leaving only whispers in stories and fragments in sediment? The boundaries between myth, memory, and archaeology blur, beckoning us to dive deeper, not just into water, but into the depths of human history itself. And as we peer beneath the waves, the question lingers: how many wonders lie hidden, waiting for the brave or the curious to uncover them? Sit back, relax, and imagine a green ocean stretching endlessly, dense and mysterious, hiding secrets older than most recorded history. For centuries, the Amazon rainforest was believed to be a vast wilderness untouched by humans. A place too harsh, too nutrient-poor, too unforgiving to host anything more than scattered tribes of hunters. Yet recent discoveries have shattered that assumption, revealing a hidden complexity beneath the foliage. Using LiDAR light detection, and ranging archaeologists began to peel back the jungle canopy with beams of invisible light, exposing a world long concealed. What emerged was astonishing. Sprawling networks of roads, canals, causeways, and plazas, interconnected urban centers. Evidence of civilizations whose scale rivals ancient Mesopotamia or Egypt. In Bolivia's Llanos de Mojos, geometric earthworks stretch for miles, linking settlements and ceremonial centers with remarkable precision. Canals and fish ponds hint at advanced water management, a mastery of the environment that allowed people to thrive where outsiders had assumed survival impossible. Further north in Brazil, hundreds of massive geometric earthwork circles, squares, and intricate patterns reveal ceremonial or astronomical purposes, painstakingly etched into the soil. Each discovery forces us to reconsider what we know of human history, challenging the notion of a pristine Amazon. Half a world away, the jungles of Cambodia tell a similar story. LiDAR revealed that Angkor, previously thought to be a single temple complex, was the heart of a vast pre-industrial metropolis, stretching for miles in every direction. Reservoirs, canals, and grids of streets point to a sophisticated urban planning system, with hydraulic engineering so advanced that modern engineers marvel at its precision. Water was not just a necessity. It was the lifeblood of an empire, managed to balance floods and droughts in a way that shaped society itself. And yet, when European explorers arrived in the 19th century, all they saw were moss-covered ruins, the forest reclaiming what human hands had built. Trees grew through temples, roots split stone, and birds and monkeys ruled where kings once held power. These hidden cities whisper an unsettling truth. Civilizations can rise, flourish, and vanish without leaving an obvious trace. And the human story is far older, richer, and stranger than we often assume. If the Amazon and Angkor could disappear almost entirely, what else might be concealed beneath other forests, deserts, and mountains, waiting for discovery? Perhaps countless lost empires lie hidden, their stories buried beneath soil, awaiting the eyes of those daring enough to uncover them. And as we peer into these green shadows, the question lingers: how fragile is the legacy of humanity, and how much of our past remains hidden, just beyond reach? Imagine stepping into a cavernous chamber carved from solid stone thousands of years ago, the air heavy with stillness, the shadows thick and expectant, and then hearing a sound, a chant, a clap, a whispered word resonate in a way that seems almost alive. Across the world, from Malta to Egypt, from Mesoamerica to England, ancient civilizations sculpted stone not merely for permanence or beauty, but perhaps as instruments of sound, tools capable of influencing perception, consciousness, even the human body itself. Beneath the island of Malta lies the Cal Saflieni Hypogeum, a labyrinth of chambers spiraling downward into darkness, carved meticulously from limestone over 5,000 years ago. In one room, known as the Oracle Room, a simple chant causes the stones themselves to hum, producing vibrations around 110 Hz. Visitors report sensations unlike any ordinary echo bones vibrating, vision blurring, an almost trance-like shift in awareness. Experiments show that sound waves here are amplified and cancelled in ways that create a unique auditory environment, almost as if the builders understood resonance far beyond their era. Some researchers suggest that such structures functioned as more than temples, they were instruments, carefully tuned to produce effects on mind and body. In Egypt, the Great Pyramid of Giza offers another enigma. Deep within the king's chamber, claps or chants do not merely echo, they linger, reverberating through the granite blocks with a sustained resonance that transforms the very perception of space. Ancient texts speak of Heka, the magical power of words and sound. Perhaps the pyramid was designed to amplify this power, a deliberate interplay of stone, geometry, and human voice. Stonehenge in England, too, may not have been just an astronomical calendar. The arrangement of massive sarsen stones forms a kind of amphitheatre, projecting sound inward while dampening it outside. Drumming, chanting, or ritualistic music would have enveloped participants, creating a shared acoustic experience, an invisible bond between community and cosmos. And in the Peruvian Andes, sites like Chavan de Huanta reveal networks of ducts and corridors, designed with eerie precision to carry and manipulate sound throughout ceremonial centers, hinting that ancient engineers understood physics, acoustics, and the power of vibration in ways modern science is only beginning to grasp. What if the ancients used sound to access altered states, to communicate with forces beyond the ordinary, or to bind communities together through ritual and resonance. Were these constructions coincidence, or the deliberate work of visionary architects seeking to harness an invisible energy? The question persists, echoing in stone and shadow. Did humanity once understand secrets of vibration, frequency, and perception that we have almost entirely forgotten? And if so, what else might lie silent beneath the surface, waiting to be heard again? Across the globe, from the windswept plains of Peru to the misty hills of Scotland, megalithic structures rise with a precision that defies easy explanation. They are monuments of stone, yet their alignment, scale, and mathematical exactitude suggest knowledge that seems almost modern in sophistication. Take, for instance, the Nazca lines of Peru, etched into the desert floor over 1,000 years ago. Viewed from the ground, they appear as simple lines and geometric shapes, but only from above do they reveal intricate depictions of hummingbirds, monkeys, and massive spirals stretching hundreds of meters in length. How did ancient hands, without aerial vantage points, conceive of such enormous designs with precise proportions? Some researchers believe these lines served astronomical or ceremonial purposes, pointing to solstices, equinoxes, or sacred mountains, yet no definitive explanation has emerged. The precision is mirrored in Europe, where the massive stones of Karnak in Brittany, France, form thousands of standing menhirs arranged in perfectly straight lines and curving, alignments that stretch over several kilometers. The sheer effort required to move, lift, and position these megaliths and weighing tens of tons raises questions about the social organization, engineering techniques, and purpose behind such labor. Stone circles, too, such as Callanish in Scotland or Avebury in England, demonstrate an acute understanding of geometry, proportions, and sight lines, often aligned to lunar or solar cycles, suggesting an ancient astronomical awareness that rivals modern calculations. Beyond Europe, the temples of Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, built around 11,000 years ago, challenge our understanding of prehistory. Massive T-shaped pillars carved with reliefs of animals, serpents, and abstract symbols were erected by hunter-gatherer communities thought to lack the social complexity for such monumental undertakings. The pillars are arranged in precise circles, their carvings indicating not just artistic skill, but symbolic and possibly astronomical knowledge. How did these early humans achieve such architectural feats without written language or advanced tools? Some scholars propose lost knowledge, forgotten technologies, or even external inspiration from unknown sources, while others emphasize human ingenuity and the persistence of collective effort. And yet, no matter how compelling the theories, the mystery remains. Why these exact alignments? Why such scale? And why so many disparate cultures across continents independently developed similar megalithic practices? Were they driven purely by ritual, by cosmological observation, or by a desire to communicate across generations, and perhaps even with forces beyond our understanding? Standing before these colossal stones, one cannot help but feel a shiver of awe and curiosity, a sense that humanity's ancestors left messages in stone that we are only beginning to decode. Whispers from a time when the stars themselves seemed within reach. Imagine unrolling a map that predates modern cartography by thousands of years, a parchment etched with coastlines, mountains, and rivers so precise that it rivals maps made with satellites today. Ancient maps, like the Piri race map of 1513, drawn by an Ottoman admiral, depict parts of Europe, Africa, and remarkably, the coast of South America, with astonishing accuracy. But what truly perplexes historians and scientists alike is that some interpretations suggested even hints at the Antarctic coastline, free of ice, centuries before it was officially discovered. How could cartographers of that era, with only ships and rudimentary instruments, chart lands they could not possibly have seen? Some researchers speculate the existence of a lost advanced civilization, one that traveled far beyond the known continents and possessed techniques lost to history. Others suggest they had access to records, oral traditions, or ancient seafaring knowledge that somehow survived through millennia. Consider, too, the Chinese UG2, or map of the tracks of Yu, created in 1137, which demonstrates detailed geographic knowledge with remarkable scale and accuracy. Meanwhile, maps like the Babylonian world map, etched in clay around 600 BCE, present a cosmological view of the Earth, complete with rivers, cities, and oceans, blending myth with surprisingly coherent spatial representation. How much of this knowledge was empirical, and how much was derived from ancient observations or even esoteric wisdom? Some theorists propose that these maps imply exploration far beyond what conventional history allows, hinting at maritime voyages across oceans at times thought impossible for early civilizations. The implications are staggering. If ancient humans possessed such geographic understanding, were their global networks of trade and knowledge exchanged far earlier than currently believed? Did a civilization, perhaps now vanished beneath rising seas or lost to the sands of time, leave behind cartographic clues of a world far more interconnected than we imagine? Each line, curve, and annotation on these ancient maps invites us to ponder not only how they were created, but also why commit such precision to paper or clay. Were they intended as navigational guides, repositories of sacred knowledge, or as testaments to human curiosity and ambition? And as we peer into these fragile records, we are left with a lingering question. What else might have been lost to time? What continents, cities, or discoveries vanished before they could be recorded, leaving only enigmatic hints in stone, clay, and ink? The maps whisper of voyages unmade, knowledge forgotten, and mysteries that beckon across the centuries, daring us to uncover their secrets, perched on the remote, windswept cliffs of Easter Island. The Moai statues rise like silent sentinels, their stone faces staring across the vast Pacific, unblinking, eternal, carved from volcanic tuff. Some weigh as much as 82 tons, their elongated heads and stoic expressions imbued with a presence that is both majestic and unsettling. How, centuries ago, did a small Polynesian society, isolated by thousands of miles of ocean, move these colossal monoliths from quarries to their ceremonial platforms? The ahu scattered along the coastline. Some researchers believe the statues were walked upright, rocked forward in a careful, orchestrated motion using ropes and sheer human coordination. But others suggest that this theory strains credulity given the scale and weight of the stones. Experimental archaeology has attempted to replicate these feats, and while partial success has been achieved with small groups, the reality remains that hundreds of massive moai were transported, often across uneven terrain, without any evidence of wheeled vehicles or draft animals. Beyond the mechanics lies an even deeper mystery. Why invest so much labor and ingenuity in these monoliths? Many anthropologists suggest they were created to honor ancestors or deities, symbols of protection and spiritual power, but the uniformity, scale, and precision hint at knowledge of mathematics, geometry, and perhaps principles of physics that remain astonishing for a society of limited resources. Some theorists propose lost technologies or even influences from unknown civilizations, while others suggest that the society developed methods ingeniously suited to their environment, now lost to history. And yet, the story of the Moai is not only about creation but collapse. By the time European explorers arrived in the 18th century, nearly all statues had been toppled, and the thriving island culture had been devastated by deforestation, resource depletion, and social upheaval. The silent Moai thus stand as both monuments of achievement and somber reminders of fragility, of how great endeavors can be undone by environmental and human forces. As the wind sweeps across their faces, one cannot help but feel a shiver of awe and unease. Could there be techniques, knowledge, or even lost wisdom hidden in the carvings themselves, waiting for someone perceptive enough to decode it? And as the Pacific stretches endlessly beyond the island, we are left with an unsettling thought. What other secrets lie in isolated lands, forgotten by time, whispering of civilizations that dared, and sometimes failed, to challenge the limits of human ingenuity? The Moai endure, eternal watchers of a mystery humanity has yet to fully comprehend, inviting us to question what other monumental feats may have once graced this world, now buried, vanished, or hidden in plain sight. Stretching across the sun-baked deserts of southern Peru, the Nazca lines unfold like a cryptic map etched into the very earth, visible only from the sky or high surrounding ridges. Spanning hundreds of square kilometers, these geoglyphs depict animals, humans, geometric shapes, and impossible two-scale patterns that remain astonishingly precise. Their lines crisp and unbroken despite centuries of wind, rain, and erosion. The sheer scale is staggering. A hummingbird stretches nearly 100 meters from beak to tail. A monkey's spiral tail coils with mathematical precision, and a spider seems to crawl across the sands in eternal stillness. How could a civilization existing around 500 BCE to 500 CE design such enormous figures without the ability to view them from the air? Some researchers argue that scaffolding, grids, or simple surveying tools could have been used, suggesting a practical, earthly explanation. Others suggest more enigmatic possibilities, ritualistic purposes, astronomical calendars, or even messages intended for celestial beings. Certain lines align with solstices, hinting at an understanding of solar and lunar cycles, while others point toward distant mountains or water sources, suggesting symbolic or functional significance. The etymology of the lines themselves is as mysterious as their creation. Removing the top layer of reddish pebbles exposes the lighter soil beneath, a method that has preserved them remarkably well, but offers no hint as to the deeper reasoning. Some theorists, inspired by their aerial visibility, propose theories ranging from communication with extraterrestrial observers to representations of sacred pathways between the heavens and earth. But such claims remain controversial, tantalizing, yet unproven. Walking among the narrow trenches, one feels both insignificant and reverent, aware of human ingenuity yet haunted by unanswered questions. Who decided the shapes? Why these particular animals? And how did their meaning resonate with the people who drew them? Despite over a century of study, no definitive answer has emerged. Satellite imagery, drones, and modern archaeological techniques have revealed even more figures, hidden beneath layers of desert soil, expanding the mystery rather than resolving it. Some of the geometric shapes, so complex that they rival modern design software, challenge our understanding of ancient perception, planning, and mathematics. The Nazca lines do not merely whisper of an ancient people. They shout across millennia, daring us to comprehend their purpose, to reconcile the precision of human hands with the vastness of the desert canvas. And as the sun sets, casting long shadows across the lines, we are left with a haunting thought. Perhaps some messages were never meant for us. Perhaps their secrets sleep beneath the sands, visible only to those who can see from the sky. What else might lie hidden, waiting for eyes that can finally decipher the story inscribed in the soil? Deep within the island of Crete, in the shadow of the ancient Minoan palaces, lies an enigma that has puzzled scholars for over a century. The Phaistos disc, this circular clay artifact, roughly 6 inches in diameter, is stamped on both sides with 241 symbols arranged in a spiral. Unlike any known writing system, the disc's surface bears images of human figures, animals, plants, tools, and abstract shapes, all pressed with remarkable uniformity, suggesting the use of movable stamps, a technology astonishingly advanced. For the 2nd millennium BCE, some researchers believe it may represent an early form of hieroglyphic script. Others suggest it is a form of proto-writing for ritualistic or administrative purposes. And yet others propose it might be a mnemonic device or even a game board. Despite decades of study, no one has definitively deciphered its meaning. The disc's discovery in 1908 at the Minoan site of Phaistos, nestled in the ruins of a collapsed palace room, has fueled speculation. Was it a sacred object, a talisman, a record of religious rites, or a form of communication intended for a select few? The symbols themselves raise more questions than answers. Some appear repetitive, suggesting grammatical structure, while others are singular and isolated, perhaps representing rare concepts or proper nouns. Attempts to link the disc to Linear A, the contemporaneous but still undeciphered Minoan script, have produced tantalizing hints but no conclusive matches. Modern imaging techniques have revealed fine details in the impressions, evidence of careful craftsmanship, yet the origins of the symbols remain entirely mysterious. Linguists, cryptographers, and computer scientists have tried encoding methods, statistical analyses, and pattern recognition algorithms, all yielding hypotheses, but no universal agreement. The disc's spiral layout, unusual for writing, further complicates interpretation, prompting some to theorize it was meant to be read in a ritualistic, ceremonial, or symbolic manner rather than as ordinary text. Holding the Phaistos disc in one's mind evokes a sense of intimacy with a civilization that understood symbolism and communication in ways that remain inaccessible to us. Each stamped impression seems deliberate, imbued with intent, yet its meaning has been lost to time, leaving only the silent clay as witness. Some scholars speculate there may be other discs waiting to be unearthed. Others wonder if this lone artifact represents a fleeting, experimental form of expression. As we turn from one of the oldest unsolved codes in history, the question lingers: what knowledge, what secrets, what worldview did the Minoans encode into this tiny, unassuming disc that still whispers to us across 3,500 years? And if we cannot read it, what does that say about the limits of human understanding and the depths of mysteries still buried in the sands of time? High on the windswept altiplano of Bolivia, near the shores of the vast lake Titicaca, lies Puma Punku, part of the greater Tiwanaku complex, a place that defies explanation and challenges our understanding of ancient engineering. Stretching across the plateau are massive stone terraces, precisely cut blocks of andesite and red sandstone some weighing as much as 130 tons, fitted together with such perfection that even a knife blade cannot slide between them. What is striking and deeply unsettling is the level of precision, straight edges, perfectly right angles, exact holes drilled at precise intervals, and interlocking shapes that seem far beyond the capabilities of civilizations thought to lack metal tools or advanced machinery. Some researchers suggest these blocks were carved with copper chisels, but the hardness of the stone, combined with the intricacy of the joints, makes that explanation contentious. Others propose that unknown techniques, lost to history, were employed, or that the Tiwanaku people possessed tools and knowledge we cannot yet comprehend. The site is scattered with enormous slabs that have toppled over time, yet the sheer scale and organization imply a deliberate architectural vision, a plan for structures that once held ceremonial or perhaps astronomical significance. Evidence suggests Puma Punku may have been a temple or a gateway, a place where the living world and the divine intersected. But without written records or definitive artifacts, the purpose remains speculation. Modern analyses of the stone surfaces reveal smoothing and cuts so precise they rival computer-aided manufacturing, prompting some fringe theorists to suggest interventions beyond the ordinary human skill set, though mainstream. Archaeology prefers explanations rooted in ingenuity, labor organization, and lost ancient techniques. Yet even if human hands shaped these stones, the sheer effort to quarry, transport, and position them across uneven terrain, at altitudes above 12,000 feet, raises staggering questions. How were such blocks moved over miles without beasts of burden or wheeled vehicles? Some speculate sophisticated rope and ramp systems, others point to sheer manpower and ingenuity. Adding to the enigma is the alignment of certain blocks and terraces with astronomical events, hinting at a culture deeply attuned to the sky, the seasons, and perhaps a symbolic connection between Earth and cosmos. Standing amidst the ruins, the wind whipping across the plateau, one feels dwarfed by both scale and mystery, the ancient landscape echoing with the lost voices of a civilization that vanished almost entirely, leaving behind stones as the only testimony. As we leave the cold shadow of Puma Punku, one cannot help but wonder, are these colossal blocks merely the remnants of human ambition, or do they whisper of a knowledge, a precision, a skill that has been almost entirely erased by time, challenging what we thought we knew about ancient history? The mystery deepens as we prepare to journey next to the enigmatic and haunting stone city of Göbekli Tepe in modern-day Turkey, a site that predates written history itself and may hold secrets older than civilization. Beneath the rolling hills of southeastern Turkey, hidden from the casual eye, lies Göbekli Tepe, a monument so ancient it predates the invention of writing, predates agriculture, and predates virtually every known city. Carved into the limestone plateau more than 11,000 years ago, this site consists of massive T-shaped pillars arranged in circular and oval enclosures, each monolith adorned with intricate bas-reliefs of animals, serpents, and abstract symbols whose meaning continues to elude researchers. What is most confounding is that these structures were built by people who, according to conventional archaeology, should have lacked the social organization, tools, and knowledge to erect something so monumental. Some researchers suggest that Göbekli Tepe represents a leap in cognitive and societal complexity far earlier than previously thought, implying a sophistication of thought, religion, and cooperation that defies our understanding of prehistory. The pillars themselves are imposing, some standing over 20 feet tall and weighing up to 50 tons, quarried, transported, and erected without the use of the wheel, draft animals, or metal tools. The carvings of lions, scorpions, boars, and vultures are rendered with astonishing precision, each line seemingly purposeful, conveying symbolism that might have been both spiritual and practical, perhaps a calendar, a ritual guide, or a record of mythic knowledge. Some speculate that the circular enclosures were sites of ceremonies, where early humans gathered to connect with unseen forces, a cathedral of the hunter-gatherer world, challenging the assumption that religion and monumental architecture required settled farming societies. The layering of sediment over millennia has preserved these enclosures almost like a time capsule. Yet much of their meaning is lost, buried not just in dirt, but in the chasm of human memory. Radiocarbon dating suggests that Göbekli Tepe was deliberately buried around 8000 BC. A mystery in itself. Why would a community painstakingly construct such grandeur only to cover it with soil, as if to hide it from future eyes? Some argue this was ritual closure, a symbolic act, while others wonder if it hints at conflicts, climate pressures, or an unknown cultural shift. As the wind whistles across the barren plateau and sunlight casts shadows through the circular stone sanctuaries, one can almost sense the echoes of voices, chants, or ceremonies long extinguished. The site forces a revaluation of the timeline of human civilization. Had humans begun to think, plan, and build far earlier than textbooks admit? And if such monumental efforts existed before agriculture, could our entire understanding of how civilization arose be fundamentally flawed? The enigma of Göbekli Tepe leaves us with a haunting question. What other monuments, lost to time and buried beneath earth or sand, might reveal truths that challenge our entire history? Next, we turn our gaze east to the enigmatic underwater city of Dwarka off the coast of India, a submerged metropolis that whispers of floods, gods, and civilizations swallowed by the sea. Off the sun-scorched coast of Gujarat, India, the waters of the Arabian Sea conceal secrets that have captivated archaeologists and mythologists alike for decades. Beneath the waves lies Dwarka, a city said in the Mahabharata to have been founded by Krishna himself, a place of dazzling palaces, temples, and streets so wide they could accommodate chariots racing side by side. Modern sonar surveys and diving expeditions have revealed stone foundations, submerged walls, and remnants of streets and circular structures stretching far into the shallow sea, suggesting a once thriving urban center now claimed by the ocean. The scale of the city is staggering. Walls several meters thick, gateways large enough for processions, and grids that indicate careful planning. Some researchers believe that Dwarka could date back as far as 9,000 years, although carbon dating is inconclusive, leaving room for controversy and speculation. If true, it would place Dwarka among the earliest urban civilizations, predating Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa in the Indus Valley, and challenging the very narrative of how human societies evolved along rivers and fertile plains. What is particularly striking is the sophistication implied by the submerged ruins, well-laid streets, strategic positioning near natural harbors, and complex drainage systems hint at a culture with advanced knowledge of engineering, urban planning, and maritime navigation. Legends speak of Dwarka as a city of gold, a shining jewel on the coast, adorned with temples of unimaginable beauty, resplendent in oracle, a mythical metal that gleamed like fire. While such tales may be poetic exaggeration, the underwater discoveries suggest that the myths are not purely allegorical. and that memory may preserve a distorted echo of a real catastrophine inundation, perhaps triggered by rising sea levels at the end of the last ice age, submerging a city in a single generation. Some skeptics argue that the formations are nothing more than natural rock structures or remnants of more recent settlements. Yet the geometry, scale, and alignment with legends are compelling enough to make many pause. Divers report rectangular blocks stacked with purpose, walls stretching in straight lines, and underwater terraces that defy explanation. Each layer of sediment and coral seems to whisper stories of a civilization drowned, waiting for us to piece together fragments of its existence. As waves crash above and fish weave through the ruins, one cannot help but feel the weight of human ambition and the fragility of memory. If Dwarka was real, what other coastal cities, lost to the seas, might still lie beneath the oceans, their streets silent, their stories waiting to be read? From this ancient port lost to water, we now journey to another realm where mystery and engineering intertwine. The impossibly precise stone structures of Puma Punku in Bolivia, whose construction continues to baffle scientists and archaeologists worldwide. High on the windswept Altiplano of Bolivia, near the shimmering waters of Lake Titicaca, lies Puma Punku, a site that defies comprehension and challenges our understanding of ancient engineering. At first glance, it seems like a pile of broken stones, scattered like the aftermath of some colossal battle. Yet closer inspection reveals a level of precision and craftsmanship that continues to astonish archaeologists and engineers alike. Massive blocks of andesite and red sandstone, some weighing over 100 tons, are cut with straight edges, right angles, and perfectly flat surfaces that align so precisely that even a thin razor blade cannot fit between them. Holes, grooves, and sockets carved into these stones suggest a complex system of joinery, allowing massive blocks to interlock without mortar, yet the methods used remain unexplained. How did a civilization, existing over 1,000 years ago, without access to modern cranes, lasers, or power tools, achieve this level of accuracy? Some researchers propose that advanced knowledge of geometry and acoustics may have been employed, harnessing vibrations to shape stone or using water and sand as abrasive tools. Yet no concrete evidence confirms these theories. The scale of Puma Punku is staggering. Terraces stretch across hundreds of meters. Platforms rise like stages for some forgotten ritual, and intricate patterns etched into the stones suggest symbolic or astronomical significance. Some stones bear puzzling cuts that would have required complex calculations, implying that the builders possessed not just brute strength, but a sophisticated understanding of mathematics and engineering. The layout of the site hints at ceremonial functions, a city of gods or an elite gathering place where stone, sky, and ritual converged. Yet, what happened here? Why did the site fall into ruin, leaving only scattered stones and broken walls? Many speculate that seismic activity, climate change, or human conflict contributed to its destruction. Yet the precision of the remaining blocks suggests a deliberate placement, almost as if the site was designed to endure through cataclysm, even as time wore away its purpose. Puma Punku challenges our assumptions about human capability, inviting us to reconsider the story of technological progress. Could these builders have possessed knowledge lost to history, or were they merely masters of observation, ingenuity, and determination? As the wind sweeps across the high plains and the sun casts sharp shadows over the carved blocks, one cannot help but feel dwarfed by human ambition and ingenuity. From the ruins of Puma Punku, meticulously engineered yet mysterious. We move across continents to another enigma submerged beneath the waters of the Pacific, the Yonani stone terraces off the coast of Japan, whose origin and purpose remain hotly debated. Beneath the turquoise waters off the coast of Japan, near the small town of Yonaguni, lies a submerged landscape that has puzzled divers, archaeologists, and geologists for decades. Known as the Yonaguni Monument, this site appears at first glance to be a natural formation, jagged rock shaped by centuries of ocean currents and seismic activity. But as divers explore further, a startling pattern emerges. Enormous terraces, steps, and angular edges carved into the rock, resembling walls, platforms, and staircases that stretch for hundreds of meters along the seabed. The largest structure rises more than 25 meters above the surrounding ocean floor. Its flat surfaces, right angles, and sharp corners suggesting deliberate construction rather than natural erosion. Some researchers believe this could be the remnants of a sunken city, lost to rising seas at the end of the last ice age around 10,000 years ago, when global temperatures rose and coastlines were submerged. Others argue that tectonic activity and underwater earthquakes sculpted the rock into its current shape, a natural illusion tricking the human eye into seeing patterns where none were intended. Yet the precision of some cuts the perfectly straight edges, the flat terraces, and the colossal, rectangular formations remains difficult to explain through natural processes alone. Divers report a haunting atmosphere as they swim through the submerged corridors and passageways, sometimes feeling as though the stones themselves echo human intention, as if frozen in time by some ancient hand. Adding to the mystery are smaller features, circular depressions that resemble quarries, stones that appear to be placed as steps, and formations that align with cardinal directions, suggesting astronomical or ceremonial significance. Carbon dating of surrounding sediments and geological analysis indicate that structures have been underwater for thousands of years, yet no definitive artifact stools, pottery, or inscriptions have been recovered to confirm human construction. The debate continues, polarizing experts into factions, those who see a prehistoric civilization with remarkable engineering skills, lost beneath the waves, and those who insist the shapes are natural, a coincidental product of erosion and geology. For those who visit, the monument exudes a sense of awe and melancholy, a silent city beneath the waves that challenges our understanding of history and human capability. As sunlight filters through the ocean, illuminating the terraces and shadows dancing across the stone, one cannot help but wonder, was Yonaguni a sacred place, a city of the ancients, or simply the earth's own artistry, playing tricks on the curious mind? From the enigmatic waters of Japan, we now journey to the forests of Cambodia, where another lost empire hides beneath the relentless green of the jungle. Deep within the dense, suffocating jungles of Cambodia lies Angkor, a sprawling network of temples, canals, and cities once thought to be mere isolated ruins. For centuries, explorers and scholars marveled at Angkor Wat, the grand temple complex, assuming it to be the heart of a small kingdom. But when LiDAR technology, a form of laser scanning from the air, peeled back the jungle canopy, a revelation emerged. Angkor was not just a city, but an entire civilization spread across hundreds of square kilometers, hidden beneath the impenetrable greenery. Roads, reservoirs, canals, and suburban grids stretched as far as the eye could see, evidence of advanced planning and engineering. a level of sophistication that rivals anything in ancient Europe or the Middle East. Some researchers argue that the hydraulic systems carefully constructed reservoirs, moats, and channels allowed the Khmer to control the flow of water, balancing periods of drought and flood, sustaining agriculture, and feeding a population estimated to be in the hundreds of thousands. Others suggest that these same waterworks could have had a symbolic or spiritual role, connecting temples and cities in a web that mirrored the cosmic order, a reflection of the heavens on earth. Walking through the overgrown corridors and moss-covered stones, one can sense the sheer scale of human ambition, a civilization that molded the land itself to fit its vision, now slowly being reclaimed by nature. Archaeologists continue to debate the reasons for Angkor's decline. Was it war, climate change, or the failure of the hydraulic system that triggered societal collapse? Some evidence points to devastating floods, followed by periods of drought, which may have crippled food production and destabilized the population. Yet, the sheer extent of the urban sprawl, the precision of construction, and the surviving monumental architecture speak to a society whose knowledge and skill were extraordinary for its time. The jungle, once a preserver of mystery, is also a destroyer. Roots split stone, vines consume walls, and moss erases inscriptions. Still, every terrace, every canal, and every temple whispers stories of human achievement, ambition, and fragility. Angkor is a testament to the paradox of civilization. It can rise to breathtaking heights of organization and beauty, yet fall into near-complete obscurity, swallowed by time and vegetation, as the afternoon sun filters through the dense foliage, illuminating the massive sandstone walls. One cannot help but feel the weight of history pressing down, a reminder that even the grandest societies are fleeting. From the silent, water-carved cities of Cambodia, we turn now to the windswept plains of Peru, where stone constructions high in the Andes challenge everything we think we know about ancient human ingenuity. High in the rugged Andes of Peru, perched on cliffs that seem to scrape the sky, lies a network of ancient stone constructions that defy easy explanation. Sites like Machu Picchu and the lesser-known Choquequirao are familiar to many, yet hidden in valleys, terraces, and mountaintops are ruins that whisper secrets older than the Inca civilization itself. These structures are not random. They are meticulously aligned with celestial events, watercourses, and the natural contours of the land. Some researchers argue that the precision with which these stones are cut and fitted, often without mortar, reflects a mastery of geometry and engineering far beyond what we would expect from societies without modern tools. In certain temples, water channels carved from granite carry runoff with such accuracy that even the smallest deviation could cause erosion, but the builders left no mistakes. Scholars debate the purpose of these structures. Were they ceremonial centers, astronomical observatories, or hubs of forgotten cities whose names are lost to time? Acoustic phenomena add another layer of mystery. In select chambers and terraces, low-frequency vibrations can resonate through the stones, amplifying sound in ways that seem deliberate. Some suggest that rituals or chants may have been enhanced through architecture itself, connecting humans to the mountains and the sky in ways we can scarcely imagine. The scale of the terraces is breathtaking. From above, they stretch like green ribbons clinging to sheer slopes, each step a testament to human labor and ingenuity. Beyond practical uses for agriculture, they may have symbolized cosmic order, the layering of earth and sky, mankind and gods. The altitude itself imposes a harsh environment, cold winds, Heavy rains and thin air yet these structures endured, hinting at a population deeply attuned to their capable of adapting and thriving in seemingly impossible conditions. The further one explores, the more the line between purpose and mystery blurs. Some stones appear carved to echo sound. Others form alignments that track solstices and equinoxes with uncanny precision. Were these markings part of a spiritual tradition, a way to chart time and life, or remnants of a knowledge system now lost? As shadows lengthen across the terraces and mountain peaks, one senses an intelligence both practical and profound, a civilization that spoke to the cosmos through stone and sky. From the high Andes, we move now to the deserts of Arabia, where wind and sand have preserved secrets that challenge our understanding of human history and ingenuity. Beneath the shifting sands of the Arabian Peninsula, hidden from casual observation, lie enigmatic stone structures that have baffled explorers and archaeologists alike for centuries. Sites such as Ula, Madain, Sayla, and the vast desert circles of the Nafud reveal traces of civilizations that thrived long before the rise of the known empires of Mesopotamia and Egypt. Some formations, carved directly into rock faces or arranged in vast geometric patterns, suggest purpose and planning far beyond subsistence needs. Scholars debate their function: astronomical observatories, ceremonial grounds, or territorial markers left by cultures whose names have been swallowed by time. In Al-Ula, monolithic tombs rise like guardians, their facades adorned with carvings that hint at cultural and spiritual sophistication. Yet the meaning of these symbols remains tantalizingly obscure. Even more mysterious are the desert circles and alignments discovered via satellite imagery. Vast rings and linear arrangements spanning hundreds of meters. Some researchers argue these were used to track celestial movements, guiding agricultural cycles and ritual calendars. Others suggest they were ceremonial spaces, gathering points for rituals lost to memory. The scale of these formations is staggering. It is impossible to fully appreciate their magnitude from the ground, requiring aerial observation to trace the full extent of their design. Weathering and wind erosion have softened the edges, yet the precision of placement remains, defying simple explanation. In certain rock-cut tombs, the acoustics amplify sound in eerie ways, producing hums and resonances that seem intentional, as if the builders sought to manipulate perception or invoke altered states during ceremonies. Here, as in the Andes, architecture and natural environment appear intertwined, suggesting a worldview that fused earth, sky, and human experience. And yet, despite their grandeur and careful construction, these desert civilizations vanished, leaving no written record, no continuous lineage, only hints preserved in stone. Their disappearance raises haunting questions. Were they displaced by climate change, conquest, or a forgotten catastrophe? Or did they simply fade into obscurity, their knowledge absorbed and transformed by later peoples? The silence of the desert holds its own answer, a quiet void filled with unanswered questions, waiting for the intrepid to explore and imagine. From the barren sands, our journey next leads us to the dense jungles of Southeast Asia, where colossal stone cities lie hidden beneath layers of green, preserved and concealed in equal measure, challenging everything we think we know about the rise and fall of civilizations. Our journey culminates deep in the heart of Southeast Asia, where the dense, dripping jungles of Cambodia concealed the remnants of an empire that for centuries was thought to exist only in legend. Angkor, once the beating heart of the Khmer civilization, sprawled across hundreds of square kilometers, its temples, reservoirs, and causeways forming a meticulously planned network unrivaled in the pre-industrial world. From the air, LiDAR technology has revealed astonishing grids of streets and canals, connecting grand temples to sprawling urban centers, all hidden beneath the jungle canopy that so effectively cloaked their secrets for centuries. The scale is breathtaking, stone towers rising above thick foliage, moats reflecting sunlight through gaps in the trees, and avenues stretching in precise lines for miles, disappearing into the green horizon. Every corner of Angkor speaks of extraordinary engineering, astronomical understanding, and societal organization. The temples themselves are intricate, carved with bas-reliefs depicting gods, kings, and scenes of cosmic order, yet some panels remain inexplicably abstract, their meaning lost to time. Hydraulics were masterfully designed. Enormous reservoirs controlled water flow, sustaining agriculture across vast distances, balancing the flood and drought cycles of the monsoon. The city thrived for centuries before decline came, gradual but inexorable as climate shifts, resource strain, and political upheaval led to abandonment. Yet, unlike other lost civilizations, Angkor never vanished completely from human memory. It was slowly reclaimed by the jungle, its ruins whispered about by local populations, glimpsed by explorers, and finally mapped in modern clarity. But even with Ledia's revelations, mysteries abound. Why were certain temples aligned precisely with what drove the obsessive scale of construction and artistic detail? And most hauntingly, could there be even older, buried layers beneath the known city, remnants of earlier societies absorbed into the Khmer Empire? Standing amid the ruins, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and vegetation, one cannot help but feel the echo of a civilization that once reached astonishing heights, only to be surrendered to time and nature. Angkor reminds us, as the Amazon and the deserts did, that human ingenuity is profound but fleeting, that we may think ourselves masters of our environment, yet centuries can wash away even the grandest achievements. As our exploration ends, we are left with a humbling thought. Earth's past is a palimpsest, written, erased, and overwritten countless times. What other cities, empires, and mysteries lie hidden, awaiting discovery? And in the silent jungle, the echoes of Angkor whisper their final invitation to remember, to explore, and to question everything we think we know about human history. The story of the world is far from complete, and its secrets continue to beckon just beyond the reach of the curious mind.